My parents ignored my birthday annually as my brother's travel tournaments took precedence. So, I'm Ethan, 28 years old, and I grew up in this small town in Ohio. From the outside, we looked like the quintessential American family: nice house, 2 kids, a golden retriever named Biscuit. The whole Norman Rockwell dream. But behind closed doors? There was a glaring hierarchy, and I was perpetually at the bottom. My younger brother, Gavin, who's now 26, was a travel baseball player. And not just any travel baseball player, oh no. According to my parents, he was destined for greatness, the next Mike Trout, the next Bryce Harper. The chosen one who would bring our family name athletic glory and, presumably, millions in endorsement deals. Spoiler alert, he never made it past community college ball. But I'm getting ahead of myself. From the moment Gavin showed a flicker of promise in Little League, maybe around age 8, our entire family existence revolved around his baseball schedule. Every single weekend was a tournament somewhere. Every weeknight was practice. Every single dinner conversation centered on his batting average, his fielding, or which supposed scouts had watched him warm up. My parents poured over $200,000 into his career over the years: travel teams, private coaching, specialized equipment, training facilities, tournament fees. And that is not an exaggeration. I actually saw the credit card statements when I was 16 and nearly choked. Meanwhile, I just existed. Somewhere in the hazy background of all this athletic worship. I was a good student, honor roll every semester, won science fair competitions, got into National Honor Society. But none of it mattered. Because it didn't involve a ball. Or a bat. Or my parents showing off in the bleachers to other travel ball parents. But the real gut punch wasn't the lack of attention to my achievements. I could have lived with that. No, what truly messed me up? My birthday. I was born July 14th. And for those of you who don't know, July is peak travel baseball season. Tournaments every single weekend, sometimes dragging on for 3 or 4 days. And every single year, like clockwork, my birthday got cancelled. Because it conflicted with one of Gavin's tournaments. Let me be crystal clear about cancelled. I don't mean they forgot. I don't mean they rescheduled to a different day. They would look me straight in the eyes and tell me, "We'll do something for your birthday later." And later, just, never came. The tournament would end, then suddenly there was another one next weekend. Then baseball camps, then fall ball, then showcase events. By the time things slowed down, it was October. And my birthday? Ancient history. One year, I think I was turning 11, I just wanted a cake. Just one. Before we left for Gavin's tournament in Indiana. My mom sighed. Like I'd asked her to solve world hunger. "We just don't have time, sweetie. Maybe we can find something at the hotel." We didn't. We found a vending machine Snickers bar. My dad tossed it to me. "Happy birthday, champ." I ate it. In the back seat of our minivan. Watching my brother warm up for his first game. Another year I was 14. I made the colossal mistake of asking if maybe I could just stay home with my grandma instead. I wasn't trying to be difficult. I just wanted to spend my birthday doing something other than sitting in 95-degree heat, watching baseball for 12 hours straight. My dad looked at me like I'd suggested burning the American flag. "This is a family," he said. "We support each other. Your brother needs us there." What about what I needed? That question never even occurred to anyone. But the worst? That was 16. 16 is a big deal in most families, right? Sweet 16 driver's license, coming of age stuff. I committed the cardinal sin of actually believing my parents when they promised we'd do something special. I was so naive. I even invited a few friends over for what I thought was a small party. My parents forgot to mention they'd signed Gavin up for a last-minute, elite showcase tournament in Georgia. That same weekend. The same weekend they'd agreed to my 16th birthday party. I found out 2 days before. My mom casually mentioned packing for Georgia. 2 days. I had to call all my friends. Cancel. Explain that my family was leaving town. And I couldn't have a party. Do you have any idea how humiliating that is at 16? Some of those friends never looked at me the same way again. I became the kid whose family clearly didn't care enough for him to have a birthday party. My parents promised they'd make it up to me. A bigger party when we got back. Better cake. The best birthday ever. They promised all these things while loading the car with Gavin's baseball bags and coolers full of Gatorade. We got back from Georgia. Gavin's team won. There was a celebration dinner at his favorite restaurant. My birthday? Never mentioned again. Let me be absolutely clear about something. This wasn't just about the birthdays. That was the most glaring symptom. But the disease, it ran so much deeper. Every single family decision revolved around Gavin's schedule. Gavin's needs. Gavin's comfort. Vacations? Only places within driving distance of a baseball facility so he could get practice in. Holidays. Structured around tournament schedules and recovery time. Family dinners? Dominated by baseball talk, scouting discussions, college recruitment strategy. I just sit there eating my meatloaf, while my parents dissected Gavin's swing mechanics like they were ESPN commentators. I remember one Thanksgiving I was 13. I just found out I won the district science fair. My project was on water filtration systems. I was buzzing, so excited to tell everyone. I waited for a break in the never-ending Gavin baseball hour. Finally, I got my opening. I won first place at the science fair. You know what my mom said? "Oh, that's nice, honey." Then immediately, "Gavin, tell your father what Coach Peterson said about your arm strength." That's nice. 3 words. And a pivot. That was the entire celebration I got for winning a district competition. When Gavin won anything baseball-related, it was an event. Trophies proudly displayed in the living room. Photos framed, hung on walls. Neighbors told. Extended family called. My achievements? A nod. Then filed away. Somewhere nobody would ever look again. A few years later, I found all my science fair ribbons and academic awards in a shoebox. In the garage. Tossed in with old Christmas ornaments and broken tools. Meanwhile, Gavin had an entire wall in his bedroom. A shrine. Dedicated solely to his baseball accomplishments. That's when it truly hit me. My position in the family. I wasn't exactly neglected, no. I was fed, clothed, had a roof. But I was furniture. Background noise. The other kid they occasionally acknowledged but never truly saw. Something fundamental shifted in me after that 16th birthday disaster. I stopped expecting anything to change. Stopped hoping my parents would suddenly see me. Stopped trying to compete with a brother who had a permanent spotlight I could never, ever touch. Instead, I got strategic. I realized if I wanted a good life, I had to build it myself. Without any help from the family who treated me like an afterthought. So I put my head down. And I worked. Maintained my 4.0 GPA. Joined every extracurricular that would pop on a college application. Applied for every scholarship. I became obsessed with building an escape route. Senior year, I applied to 14 different colleges. Got into 11. Several with significant scholarship offers. I chose a state school 4 hours away from home. Full academic ride, plus a small stipend for living expenses. My parents barely noticed. They were too busy touring colleges with Gavin, who was supposedly being recruited by some Division II schools. I left for college that August. My parents drove me there. Unloaded my stuff in about 45 minutes, then left. To get back in time for Gavin's showcase game that night. No tearful goodbyes. No walking around campus. No parent orientation. Just a quick hug and a call us if you need anything that we all knew was pure formality. College was the first time in my life I felt like I could breathe. Nobody knew I was the forgotten son. Nobody compared me to my brother. I was just Ethan. A blank slate. A fresh start. I majored in accounting, minored in finance. Yeah, it sounds boring. But I loved the precision of numbers. That there were right answers and wrong answers. That success in accounting was based purely on skill and hard work, not whether your parents showed up to cheer for you. I graduated summa cum laude in 4 years. While Gavin, he bounced around community college, struggling to stay eligible for a baseball team that was absolutely not a pipeline to the majors, no matter what my parents convinced themselves. His fastball topped out at 84 miles per hour. Decent for a casual player, but nowhere near pro level. The dreams of MLB stardom quietly faded, though my parents to this day never quite accepted it. After graduation, I got a job at an accounting firm in North Carolina. I chose North Carolina specifically because it was far enough from Ohio that surprise family visits were unlikely, but close enough that I couldn't be accused of completely abandoning everyone. Not that anyone would have noticed if I'd moved to Antarctica. Over the next few years, I started what I called the slow fade. No big dramatic announcements. No cutting them off in a blaze of glory. No screaming matches or scathing letters. I just quietly stopped showing up. Family dinners? Sorry work's crazy. Thanksgiving? Already made plans with friends. Christmas? I'll try to make it, but no promises. Gavin's birthday parties, which somehow still got priority even though he was a grown adult. Ugh, deadline that week. I'd send a generic gift card. A quick text. Make the occasional 5-minute phone call. I maintained the absolute bare minimum to avoid an obvious confrontation. But I stopped investing any emotional energy in people who had never, ever invested any in me. And here's the crazy part. Nobody noticed. Seriously. Nobody called me out for missing 3 Thanksgivings in a row. Nobody questioned why I hadn't been home for Christmas in 2 years. Nobody found it odd that they hadn't seen my face in person since college graduation. My parents were still so utterly consumed by Gavin's life that my absence barely registered. Gavin, by the way, had moved back home after his baseball career fizzled. He worked part-time at a sporting goods store, chasing some vague dream of being a personal trainer or coach. My parents still funded most of his existence. Still went to his recreational league softball games like they were the World Series. Still treated him like the golden child even though his gold had seriously tarnished. I wasn't bitter about it, not anymore. Honestly, I'd made peace with my place in the family hierarchy a long time ago. I was just done participating in a show where I wasn't even an extra. Done being the audience member who paid for tickets but never got to sit down. Meanwhile, my life in North Carolina? It was actually pretty amazing. I worked my way up at the accounting firm, entry-level, senior associate, then manager. Bought a small condo. Made real friends who actually remembered my birthday. Then I met Olivia. At a friend's cookout. She was a pediatric nurse with the most infectious laugh I'd ever heard. And a zero-tolerance policy for family nonsense that made me feel seen in a way I'd never experienced. I told Olivia everything. My canceled birthdays. The invisible achievements. The constant second place finish to a brother who didn't even know he was competing with me. She listened. Without judgment. Then looked me in the eyes and said, "Their loss. Seriously, they missed out on knowing someone incredible." Nobody had ever called me incredible before. Olivia came from a close-knit family. The kind that actually functioned. Her parents, married 35 years, still held hands at the grocery store. They had Sunday dinners together not because they had to, but because they genuinely wanted to. The first time I went to one of those dinners, I felt like an anthropologist studying an alien civilization. This is what normal looks like. Her mom asked me about my job and actually listened. Her dad talked to me about regular stuff, sports, movies. They included me. In conversations. Instead of talking around me. I kept waiting for the catch. For the moment they'd pivot away from me to focus on someone more important. That moment never came. After a few months with Olivia, I realized I hadn't talked to my parents in almost 5 weeks. Not because I was avoiding them specifically. I just genuinely forgot they existed. Because my life was finally full of people who actually wanted me in it. When I mentioned it to Olivia, she just raised an eyebrow. That's kind of telling, don't you think? Yeah, really was. Olivia and I dated for 3 years before I proposed. I knew she was the one after about 6 months, but I wanted to do things right. I saved for a ring I knew she'd adore. I planned a proposal that was deeply meaningful to us, not some flash mob or social media stunt. Just the two of us on a hiking trail we loved, with a sunset view and a question I already knew the answer to. She said yes before I even finished asking. When we started planning the wedding, Olivia asked me the question I'd been dreading. "So, how involved do you want your family to be?" I thought about it. For a long, long time. Part of me, the old me, wanted to be the bigger person. Part of me thought, maybe this is a fresh start. A chance for my parents to finally show up for me for a moment that truly mattered. But then I remembered. Every single broken promise. Every canceled birthday. Every time I sat invisible in the back seat while they cheered for someone else. "I don't want them there," I said. And I meant it. Olivia didn't push back. She didn't try to convince me to make peace. Or extend an olive branch. She just nodded. And said, "Then they won't be there. This is our day." I cannot tell you how much that meant to me. She didn't try to fix my family. Or play mediator. Or suggest I was too harsh. She trusted my experience. My judgment. She chose me. So, we decided on a destination wedding in Costa Rica. Olivia had always dreamed of a beach wedding, and I just wanted something utterly different from the drab Ohio church weddings I'd grown up seeing. Costa Rica was perfect. Far enough to feel like an adventure, but accessible enough for our actual friends and chosen family. The guest list was small, maybe 40 people total. Olivia's parents, her sister and brother-in-law, a handful of aunts, uncles, and cousins who had welcomed me with open arms. And from my side? My college roommate who became my best friend. A few work colleagues who turned into genuine friends. And my cousin Jamie, the only blood relative who'd ever treated me like I mattered. No parents. No brother. No extended family from Ohio who'd spent decades pretending I didn't exist. The wedding itself was everything I never knew I needed. We got married on a private beach at sunset. The venue was a small, boutique resort specializing in intimate weddings. Palm trees swayed. White sand. Water so impossibly blue it looked photoshopped. Olivia walked down an aisle made of seashells and tropical flowers. The officiant, a warm local woman, conducted the ceremony in both English and Spanish. I cried when I saw Olivia in her dress. I cried when I said my vows. I cried when she said hers. And I'm not ashamed. Not for a second. During the ceremony, I had this strange, powerful moment. I looked out at that small crowd. Every single person there had chosen to be there. Every single person cared about me. No obligation. No family duty. No keeping up appearances. Just pure love. My best friend, Jake, stood next to me as my best man. This guy had driven 4 hours to help me move into my first apartment after college, because my parents couldn't be bothered. He was more of a brother to me than my actual brother ever was. Olivia's dad walked her down the aisle, tears streaming down his face. This man had welcomed me into his family from day one. He called me son without hesitation. The reception was at a beachfront restaurant, fairy lights twinkling between palm trees. A live band played acoustic covers of our favorite songs. 40 of us total. But it felt like the whole world was celebrating. Olivia's dad gave a toast that made everyone laugh and cry. My best friend gave a speech about how I was the most loyal person he'd ever known. Olivia's mom? She told me she was proud to officially call me her son. That one hit different. Proud son. 2 words I'd craved my whole life. From people who never said them. We danced until midnight. Ate cake on the beach. Watched the stars come out over the ocean. And felt like the luckiest people alive. And here's the thing. Not for one single second did I think about my parents. Or my brother. Not during the ceremony. Not during the reception. Not at any point. They were so utterly removed from my mind, they might as well have been fictional characters. From a book I read a very long time ago. One of Olivia's cousins was a semi-professional photographer, and she spent the whole weekend capturing candid shots. The ceremony. The reception. Brunch. Just us, laughing with friends, walking on the beach, ridiculously happy. Those photos, it turns out, would become very, very important. About 3 weeks after we got back from Costa Rica, Olivia posted some wedding photos on her social media. Nothing wild, just a few shots of the ceremony, the beach, us looking disgustingly in love. She tagged the location, wrote something like, "Married the love of my life in paradise." Her cousin, the photographer, also posted a few on her professional page. Beautiful golden hour pictures of Olivia in her dress, and me looking at her like she hung the moon. We didn't think much of it. Everyone posts wedding photos, right? But then, something weird happened. The photos started getting shared. A lot. It started with a wedding inspiration account reposting the photographer's shots. Then a bigger account. Then another. And then, somehow, it landed on one of those viral feel-good story pages. Caption about a dreamy Costa Rica beach wedding. And it just exploded. Within a week, those photos had been seen by literally millions of people. The photographer's page gained 50,000 followers. Wedding blogs were reaching out for vendor details. It was insane. I figured it was just a weird internet moment, it'd fade. Weddings go viral sometimes. We get our 15 minutes, then back to normal. Then my phone started blowing up. The first call was from my cousin Jamie, the only blood family member I'd actually invited. "Dude," she said, "have you checked Facebook today?" I hadn't. I barely use Facebook anymore. It's mostly just old relatives and minion memes. "Your mom is losing her mind," Jamie continued. "Like absolutely losing it." She posted this massive thing about finding out her son got married from seeing photos online. She's playing the victim hard. And people are eating it up, sad reacts, comments about kids these days have no respect. I felt my stomach drop a little. But strangely I felt calm. I'd known this moment would come, eventually. I just didn't expect it to arrive via viral wedding photos. I pulled up my mom's Facebook page. Sure enough, a novel-length post. About how devastated she was to learn her eldest son got married without telling his family. How she found out because a coworker shared a picture and said, "Wait, isn't that your son?" How she'd been crying for days. How she didn't understand what she'd done to deserve this. The comments were wild. Dozens of people validating her grief. "So sorry. Children can be so cruel. He'll regret this when you're gone. How ungrateful." My dad commented too. Just one line. "I didn't raise my son to behave this way." Funny. I didn't remember him raising me at all. Then I saw Gavin's post. He'd shared one of the viral photos with his own commentary. "Imagine finding out your brother got married because a stranger showed you a viral picture. Imagine knowing you weren't even invited. That's what my family's dealing with. Family is supposed to be everything. Some people forget that. The comments under his post? Even worse. That's so messed up. What kind of person does that to their own brother? Blood is thicker than water, man. He'll be sorry when he realizes what he threw away. I scrolled through all of it with a weird, detached calm. Like I was reading about characters in a story, not my actual life. These people didn't know me. They didn't know my childhood. They only knew the carefully crafted victim narrative my family was spinning. My phone started ringing. Mom. Dad. Mom again. An unknown number, probably a relative who somehow got my contact info. I let them all go to voicemail. Then my mom sent a text. Ethan, please call me. I am your mother. I deserve an explanation. Deserve. That word hit me like a truck. After all those years of canceled birthdays, broken promises, invisible achievements, she had the nerve to say she deserved something from me? I typed back one message. You had 28 years to show up for me. You chose not to. I am choosing the same. Then I blocked her number. Cold. Over the next few days, the online drama just kept unfolding. My family kept posting, kept playing the victims, kept soaking up sympathy from people who only knew their side. And then, something completely unexpected happened. My cousin Jamie. She went scorched earth. She posted her own lengthy, blistering response to my mom's viral pity party. She talked about being at my wedding. How truly beautiful it was. She talked about meeting Olivia's family, how warm and genuinely welcoming they were. And then, she dropped the receipts. She posted screenshots of text conversations, which I had given her full permission to share. Texts from my mom over the years, canceling birthday plans because of Gavin's tournaments. Texts from me, asking if we could maybe celebrate my birthday a different week, only to be utterly ignored. A text from my dad that literally said, Gavin's showcase is more important than cake. You will understand when you are older. She wrote about being at one of my birthday dinners when I was 12, watching my parents spend the entire time on the phone, coordinating logistics for Gavin's upcoming tournament. She wrote about my 16th birthday party getting canceled, and me having to call my friends in absolute shame. Then she wrote one line. It went viral itself. You do not get to spend 18 years treating someone like they are invisible and then act shocked when they stop trying to be seen. And the comments? They started shifting. People started asking questions. Wait, why did you cancel his birthdays? Why does one kid get a $200,000 investment in travel sports while the other gets a Snickers bar? Why did Ethan move across the country and nobody noticed he was gone for years? Jamie also posted the text thread from my 16th birthday. The one where my mom casually informed me we were going to Georgia 2 days before my planned party. The one where I asked if maybe we could postpone Georgia by one day. The one where my dad responded, the tournament bracket does not revolve around your social calendar. You will survive. That text, in particular, made people furious. You will survive. About a 16th birthday party. Getting canceled. For a kid who had never been prioritized once in his life. The callousness of it was so stark. So sickening. When you saw it spelled out in black and white. Someone in the comments even did the math on travel baseball costs. They estimated my parents spent between $15,000 and $25,000 per year on Gavin's baseball career. For roughly 10 years. Meanwhile, I'd paid my own way through college on scholarships and part-time jobs. Because they told me they couldn't afford to help. Couldn't afford to help me while simultaneously dropping enough money on one kid's sports career to buy a decent house. My mom tried damage control. She posted a follow-up, claiming Jamie was exaggerating. That they always did something special for my birthdays. That I was being dramatic and ungrateful. But the screenshots spoke for themselves. The receipts were right there. In black and white. A few of her friends tried to defend her. Every family has favorites. That doesn't make it abuse. Or, maybe Ethan should have spoken up if he was so unhappy. Those comments got ratioed into oblivion. By strangers. Pointing out that I had spoken up. Repeatedly. And nobody listened. Then, more people started coming forward. A former neighbor who remembered me sitting alone in the backyard during my parties. A high school friend who recalled the canceled party. A teacher who remembered writing my college recommendation letter because she knew my parents wouldn't prioritize it. My high school friend posted her own recollection of the 16th birthday disaster. She wrote about getting my call, canceling the party, and how defeated I sounded. She wrote about her mom offering to let me stay with them, and my mom declining that offer, saying Ethan needs to learn that family comes first. Family comes first. Unless that family member is Ethan. Then travel baseball comes first. The court of public opinion? It shifted dramatically. My family went from sympathetic victims to outright villains. In a story they had written themselves. I finally listened to the voicemails. 23 of them. My mom's ranged from tearful pleas, "Please call me, I am your mother, I love you," to angry accusations. "I cannot believe you would humiliate me like this," to manipulative guilt trips. "Your father hasn't been sleeping. His blood pressure is up. I hope you're happy." My dad left exactly one voicemail. His voice? Tight. Controlled. The same voice he used when I'd embarrassed him in front of the travel ball parents. "I don't know what we did to deserve this, Ethan. But you have really hurt your mother. This family has given you everything. I thought we raised you better than this. Call me back." Everything. They had given me everything except attention. Except presence. Except the basic acknowledgement that I existed outside of being Gavin's older brother. Gavin left a few too. Mostly just pure anger. "Dude, what is your problem? Mom has been crying for like a week straight. You made me look like garbage in front of everyone. We're supposed to be family. You can't just cut us out because of some childhood stuff. Grow up." Childhood stuff. 18 years of being invisible. Just childhood stuff. I didn't call any of them back. About a month after the wedding went viral, a letter arrived. Hand-addressed in my mom's handwriting. Sent to my work address, which meant she'd had to dig for it. I thought about throwing it away unopened. But curiosity got the better of me. 4 pages long. Single-spaced. On that floral stationery my mom's had since I was a kid. She started with an apology. Or at least what she thought was an apology. "I'm sorry if you felt overlooked as a child. We never meant to make you feel that way. We were just trying to support your brother's dreams. If I felt overlooked, not, 'I'm sorry we overlooked you.' Not, 'I'm sorry we canceled your birthdays.' Just, sorry that I felt a certain way about the things they actually did." She went on to explain they'd invested in Gavin because he had special talents that needed nurturing. She said I was always the independent one, who didn't need as much attention. She assumed I understood Gavin's career was a family priority, and I'd benefit too when he made it to the majors. When not if. She still clung to that fantasy even though it was long dead. She talked about how hurt she was that I hadn't invited them. How she'd always dreamed of watching me get married. How she'd been robbed of that experience. Robbed. Like I'd stolen something from her. Like my wedding was her property which I'd selfishly withheld. She ended the letter hoping we could put this behind us and move forward as a family. Said she'd always love me, no matter what. Signed it, Mom, with a little heart. I read the letter twice. Put it back in the envelope. Then I recycled it. There was nothing in those 4 pages that sounded like genuine accountability. No acknowledgement of specific harms. No real understanding of why I might be upset. Just excuses. Wrapped in the language of victimhood. I showed the letter to Olivia. She read it slowly. Sat it down. "This," she said, "is genuinely one of the most tone-deaf things I have ever read." She spent 4 pages explaining why the way they treated you was justified. She was right. My parents had decided early on that Gavin's talents were worth investing in. And mine? Were not. They had made that choice. Deliberately. Over and over. For 18 years. And now. They expected me to just get over it, because they finally noticed I was gone. I didn't write back. My mom didn't deserve a response. She didn't deserve anything from me. Except exactly what she had given me for 18 years. Nothing. I wasn't going to move forward as a family, with people who still truly didn't understand what they had done. About 3 months after the wedding went viral, I got a call from Jamie. Her voice was tense. "Heads up," she said. "Your parents are planning to come to North Carolina. They booked flights for next weekend. Your mom told my mom they're going to show up at your house and make you talk to them." My jaw tightened. How did they get my address? "Aunt Linda," she sighed. "She found it on some property records website. I'm so sorry, Ethan. I tried to warn her not to give it to them, but she thinks this whole situation is sad and everyone should just make up." I thanked Jamie for the heads up and hung up. Then I called Olivia. Told her everything. "So they're just going to ambush us?" she asked. "Show up unannounced at our home apparently. That is asterisk insane star. What do you want to do?" I thought about it. For a few seconds. "I want to not be here when they arrive." And that's exactly what we did. The weekend my parents flew to North Carolina, Olivia and I drove to Charleston. For a spontaneous beach trip. We turned off our phones. Spent 3 days eating seafood, walking on the beach, completely ignoring whatever chaos was unfolding back home. When we got back Sunday night, there it was. A note. Taped to our front door. My mom's handwriting. We came all this way to see you. We sat on your porch for 4 hours waiting. Please call us. We love you and we want to fix this. There was also a gift bag. With a card. And what looked like a framed photo inside. I didn't open it. I threw the whole thing. In the trash. 2 days later my dad called. From a number I didn't recognize. I made the mistake of answering. Ethan, this is ridiculous, he spat. His voice was hard. And angry. We flew across the country to see you, and you hid from us like a child. Your mother cried the entire flight home. Are you happy? I didn't ask you to come, I said. I said I didn't want you to come. You showed up uninvited at my home. We are your parents. We don't need an invitation, he boomed. Actually, you do. That is exactly how this works. He sputtered. For a few seconds. I don't know what we did to make you hate us so much. I know you don't, I replied. That's the problem. I hung up. And blocked that number too. A few weeks after that ambush attempt, I got some huge news at work. The firm was promoting me to director. A significant jump in title. And salary. They told me I'd earned it through years of consistent, excellent work and strong client relationships. Olivia insisted we celebrate. She organized a dinner at a fantastic restaurant with about a dozen of our closest friends. Her parents drove down from Virginia. Jake flew in from Atlanta. Even Jamie came. During dinner, Olivia's dad stood up. He gave a toast. He talked about how incredibly proud he was of me. How hard I'd worked. How much I deserved this recognition. He said he considered me his son. That watching me succeed brought him genuine joy. I looked around that table. At all these people. Who had shown up for me. Who had driven hours or flown across states. To celebrate my promotion. My actual parents? They had never, not once, done anything like this for any of my achievements. After dinner, Olivia's mom pulled me aside. Handed me a small wrap box. This is from us, she said. For your promotion, but also just because we wanted you to have it. Inside. A really nice watch. High quality. Elegant. The kind of thing you wear to important meetings. You don't have to say anything, she said when I started to thank her. Just know that we see you. We have always seen you. Fast forward to now. It's been almost a year since the wedding went viral. My parents made 2 more attempts at contact after the ambush. First, a certified letter to my office demanding a meeting. My assistant signed for it. I had our company lawyer send back a formal cease and desist, requesting they not contact me through my workplace. That stopped pretty quickly. Second, they tried going through Olivia's parents. My mom somehow got their number. Called them to plead her case. Olivia's mom listened. Politely. For about 5 minutes. Then she said, with all due respect, I have heard your son's side of this story. And I believe him. If you want a relationship with him, you will need to earn it. Calling us is not the way to do that. Then she hung up. I heard about that conversation secondhand. And I laughed out loud. Olivia's mom is tiny. But she does not take nonsense from anyone. Gavin reached out once, through Instagram DMs about 6 months ago. Said he missed his brother. Wanted to meet up. I looked at his profile. Still living at home with our parents. Still working part-time at the sporting goods store. I didn't respond. Meanwhile, my life just kept getting better. Olivia and I bought a house. A craftsman bungalow. Big yard. Front porch. We got a dog, Hank, the goofiest golden retriever you've ever seen. And we've started talking about maybe having kids in the next couple of years. This whole journey has taught me so much about what family truly means. It's not just blood. It's who shows up. It's who sees you. What would you have done in my situation? Have you ever had to choose your own peace over family ties? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts.